everyone. Welcome back to Good Golfers, Bad Choices. Tonight's video is going to be covering the 2006 U.S. Open at Winged Foot, which a lot of people might remember. It was the one where Colin Montgomery fell apart on the last hole, and then Phil Mickelson, while Jeff Ogilvy, chipped in on 17 and made a good par on 18 to win outright. And for a while there, it looked like he wouldn't even get into a playoff. But Mickelson and Montgomery fell apart so drastically that that's what happened. Ogilvy ended up winning it outright. And there's a lot of course management lessons to learn in this, and we're going to look at all of them. So this video is going to be an hour long. It's going to cover from when Phil, who was in the final group with Kenneth Ferry, the Englishman, played number 14 all the way into 18. Now, you may remember that Phil started out 2 over par, and he was tied with Ferry going into the final round. After the 4th hole, Phil had made a birdie, and he was 1 ahead of the field. Then he got 2 behind Ogilvy by hole number 11. And by hole number 14, Phil was 1 ahead again. The players were all going up and down, which was fascinating. I'll tell you, this is the most jostled major I've ever seen. It was amazing. There were about 7 or 8 people with 9 holes to play who had a chance to win. Anyway, let's start now and see how the guys are doing with Phil hitting an approach shot on number 14 after driving it into the rough, which was one of the mistakes he made all day. He should have dropped down to some kind of lofted wood so that he could play these holes from the fairway. It ended up killing him too, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how the guys are doing.
Here on the East Coast, the 106 U.S. Open Championship coming down to the final few holes. Phil Mickelson looking for another part of the American Slam, already with a PGA Championship in 2 matches.
So you can see here there's Ferry, Singh, Ogilvy, Harrington, Montgomery, Furyk, and Mickelson. And there are others that are not on this list here that also had a chance. I mean, it was amazing. So let's see how they go here.
Masters. Just a few holes left to decide it. Jim Furyk, who's already won it, 1 back, and this man looking to tie Mickelson for the lead at 15.
Only 1 birdie on 15 today, Mike Weir. Can he read it right? Nope. That is a very unusual little spot back there. These guys, I don't think, practiced at all to that hole location.
3 holes left for Monty, 14.
Kenneth Ferry for a birdie. Back up the hill, he hit a good shot. It just released and went all the way down. Nicely judged there.
Just a moment ago at 16, 170-yard second shot for Steve Stricker. Good clean strike. He likes it, be right. And it is. So Steve Stricker will have a short birdie putt and a chance to get the 6 over at 14.
And Johnny, Phil is defying our feeling that you have to hit fairways.
Yeah, 2 fairways, 3 birdies today were all on fairways missed. And this is huge, though. This will give him that 2-shot spread. And with his talent and experience and his momentum winning the last 2 majors, you know, it's not a gimme, but this is really an important putt to spread himself from the field.
No, Johnny, it's not a mechanical, it's not a hard one either. There's very little break in this, maybe inside the hole on the right center.
The green's getting a little bit,
you know. A little bit. You don't want it to bounce offline, but you need to hit the putt squarely.
So at this point, Phil has a 2-stroke lead with 4 holes to play, 4 that he has to play. The other guys are in front of him, of course, because he started in the last group. But he is in a very good position here and needs to get that tee shot in the fairway. You heard Johnny Miller say that he had only gotten 2 drives in the fairway out of 10 so far. So very hard to play at Wingfoot, which is where this tournament was held, from the rough. The rough is so lush and thick, it's amazing. And the primary cut is about 3 inches deep, and the secondary cut is 6.
Okay, what another roar for the fans in New York. He's heard it before, Murph. We've talked about it all championship week long. It's never ended in a victory in this championship, but a 2-shot lead with 4 to play.
Well, he's got to whip it to a froth, doesn't he? They're excited. Look at him. Look at these guys.
Trying to become just a second player in the modern era to win 3 majors in a row.
Take another look at that stroke. That was nothing but solid. He knew he was going to hit it firm going back up the hill. Keep it in the hole, yeah.
And playing +1 golf today, Murph. You talked about it, hitting 2 fairways, Johnny. I had to bring it up earlier in the telecast.
Yeah.
You said the guy that's gonna win this championship is gonna hit the most fairways. But Mickelson is proving today that he's just got more creativity and more magic in his bag with all the short shots and artistry shown from the rough. It's been an amazing show.
You're right.
Ogilvy now at 15, up ahead from 155.
It's just so hard to get it. That'll funnel back down. There's that little cup there. We saw Colin get it up there. But that's not the hardest putt in the world. It's just a tough read to make. You can come close, but to make it is almost luck.
Ogilvy +4 the last 7 holes at one time, the sole leader in this championship. We go to 16.
And a birdie putt for Steve Stricker. Just right edge. No problem for the man who 5 times has been in the top 10 of the putting stats on the PGA Tour.
Stricker is one of those guys who was not on the first page of the leaderboard, but definitely had a chance to win here. He misses a putt or 2 on the way in, but otherwise he would have been right in the middle of it. Could have easily won.
Steve Stricker to 6 over. We go back to 15.
That's definitely not a driver. Unless he wants to.
Remember, this is a course management channel. I'm going to help you guys with decision making on the course. It's going to lower all of your scores, guaranteed. If you start making the proper decision on the golf course, you'll be shocked at how many strokes lower you shoot. The reason I know this is I started playing golf again at age 47 after quitting at age 13 or 14. So 33 years without playing at all. I'm a heart surgeon also, and I spent all that time in hospitals. And I was a plastic surgeon before I was a heart surgeon, so I spent all my life in hospitals basically up until I was 47 and continued on until now. But I'm talking about when I was a resident and so forth, where you can't leave the hospital. So I didn't play any golf to speak of, maybe about 3 rounds or 4 rounds in 33 years. That's about it. Once every 10 years with borrowed clubs and so forth. And when I started back at age 47, I wanted to play pro golf. So I had to think a real lot about how I could do that within a year, which I ended up doing it within a year, getting a tour card within a year. But I wasn't going to change my swing at all. Whatever was natural, I was going to use it because I didn't have time to practice with a new swing or anything like that. So I've never taken any lessons. And I just used my simple swing. I hit the ball very straight. It's not very long, but it's in the fairway and on and on. Occasionally I put too much hook on one and I'm in the left trees, that sort of thing. But I had to figure out a way to improve my golf with course management because that would be something that I could use my intellect for and my knowledge of physics. I was a physics major at MIT, and I could shave strokes that way much more efficiently than trying to change my swing. The other thing I would recommend, of course, is practicing your putting and your short game a lot. But for the long game, if you're trying to get to a tour within a year or so and you haven't played in decades, you're going to have to do it with your intellect. You're going to have to do it with course management. Now, I've said many times already on the channel that the biggest difference between a tour pro like you see here and a true scratch golfer is course management. It's not any other skill in golf like driving or putting or short game or iron play. It's course management. I say that even though I'm going to feature some terrible decisions made by these guys on the way in here, any of which would have caused them to win the tournament instead of losing to Jeff Ogilvy, who's the eventual winner. So let's watch it from here, and you'll be amazed at some of the poor decisions that are made by these top players.
To carry the creek, talk about ribbon of fairways.
236.
The narrowest here at Wingfoot.
Ball's obviously gone. I don't know how much help we're going to get back here back in these trees, but I was thinking 3. I mean, if you're interested in getting the ball, I don't want to go over too much because it runs off. Okay, I like to by all means. You got it.
Has there been a course that has been broken down more than Wingfoot by Bones and Mickelson?
Well, the two of them are real, they're technicians. They really know what they're doing. You can see that one little creek is really the only bit of water on this golf course that could come into play, and it really doesn't unless you're really sort of crazy.
It's 22 yards wide, that fairway down there at the end.
22 yards when you notice that is a small target. He's looking at it like it's not a gimme.
Well, this is down in the left center. We'll see what kind of bounce it gets when it gets over the crest of the hill.
Well, that's why I hit the 4-iron so it wouldn't run down through there, and that's a pretty good lead, I think. He's got the ball.
I disagree with Johnny there a little bit. I mean, 22 yards with a 4-iron is plenty of fairway to hit the shot into, because that would be a 66-foot wide green. And someone like Phil Mickelson should be able to hit his 4-iron on a 66-foot wide green with no concern of length. So, the fact that he dribbled that into the rough a little had to do with the contour of the fairway. He hit that pretty straight, but it certainly isn't a narrow landing area for a 4-iron. It would be for a driver, but not a 4-iron.
The lowest feet on the downhill side of the lie, which is not an easy shot when you got to hit it to a right hole location. It requires a draw off a sliced lie.
Up ahead to 17.
Jim Furyk second, 178 yards, back center hole location.
Tough to get it back there, huh?
Yeah, Johnny, only 2 birdies here all day.
You look like you...
And a little left. There's a little sideboard there.
Yeah,
That may just come down. All right.
I don't think he had a clue that it was going to do that. He'd give it up on it.
I think it was a lot. Turned out a lot better than he thought.
Somebody could get it close by pulling it by accident along the left and having it run around there. He almost did. Did he?
Well, same exact yardage. 178 yards. Gotta be careful the toe of the club doesn't get caught by the 3.5-inch rough. Right on the crease.
His swing plane doesn't make the crease worse, or can you go right along it?
I think right along it.
That's
High and headed right.
We went a little deep, and that will go underground.
Again, I don't care about execution errors. We all make those, and doesn't have anything to do with course management. But Phil had missed so many fairways during the day that it becomes a course management issue if you cannot hit your driver in the fairway and you continue on after that. I mean, that's bad decision making. This is Patrick Harrington, who wasn't on the list at first either, I don't think. Maybe he was. But he's only 5 over. I mean, he's only 3 strokes behind Mickelson, and Mickelson completely collapses, as you'll see. Oops. Keep doing that.
Harrington struggling here at the finish.
It's 2031. and I finally qualified for Mint 55 Plus, an exclusive plan.
16th, Montgomery's second shot. Good tee shot, right side of the fairway, 183 yards to the hole.
It's a heck of a tee shot under pressure, Gary. It's narrow out there.
It is just 24 yards wide here, 16.
Birdie would be nice about now.
This one looks pretty good here.
Oh, let's stay there. Let's stay. Yes, it will. Okay.
That was getting it.
Montgomery is someone whose game is tailor-made for a U.S. Open. He hits the ball extremely straight. I played with him once, and he doesn't hit the ball real long. He hits it about 280, 285 compared to the other guys, but he everyone is like a punch out. It has a 5-yard fade on it, a real high 5-yard fade, beautiful shots, which is just what you want in a U.S. Open. I mean, he can hit fairways and greens like anybody.
Taste of it, isn't he?
Yes, he is. You got to give him credit, Johnny. I think he's handling it very well. Hasn't been in this position in a major championship in quite some time.
Yeah, guys, he's had a taste of it, but bitter, sweet in the end. Here's a guy that used to be a perennial top player in the world after 12 straight years in the top 6 in the European money list, fell to 28th, fell out of the top 50 in the world golf rankings. Thought about retiring for a while. It got so bad, his game did. Look at that, 99 career starts in the U.S. without a win. Things started turning around, though, the last couple of years. Second in the British Open.
Well, he had a taste there at the British, so be a great win there if he could get it this year. If he could just win one major, you know, for Colin, that would be big. Okay, important putt here.
Ogilvy for birdie.
Up and over. Very slow. Well, it'll get there. That was a good putt. He's hit some quality putts. Putt he hit at 14 was really well struck, and then this one he thought had a chance.
A little bit of a Tiger Woods type of feel to this final day here. Everybody else kind of leaving the leaderboard at the top, and now it's Mickelson who's
doing it.
Yeah.
That little wedge that Mickelson hit at 11, that was the key shot, I thought. That little chip pitching wedge.
Ogilvy stays 2 behind with 3 holes to play. We go up to the green at 17.
Padraig Harrington once again taking a long look at this little chip shot. Donnie, you've had a chance to look at the live?
I did, and it's a little bit better than he had at the 16th. It's actually clear in front of the ball, but it does have a pretty good sized clump right behind it and going away from him once he gets the ball on the playing surface.
He's pitching the ball a little bit back uphill, which gives him the luxury of perhaps being a little more aggressive with the shot.
I can tell you there's more brown grass between me and the hole than there is green grass. It's getting a little toasty out here.
I think he's taking dead aim, Dottie, or just trying to make par.
Well, I think he'd take par and take his chances at 18.
A lot of practice swings.
Downhill line for Mickelson from the interview.
By the way, on Padraig's shot there, let me tell you about a physics principle that will help you execute those kinds of shots. You want to choke way up, meaning shorten the club on those, and you want to swing harder, not leave it long and try to just use a lot of touch and swing easy through that thick rough. Because that's the kind of shot where you don't want a lot of leverage. And the longer the club is, the more leverage you have. He did it right. He played it back in his stance a little bit so he wouldn't have to sweep through all that thick grass. He would sort of come down on the ball. And also he choked up a lot. So he was able to swing harder and not let the grass slow the club down too much, and that's why he executed a pretty good shot there. The worst thing you can do is hold the club on the end and just put, an easy swing on it. The grass will just hold the club up too much, and it'll be way too variable, the distance that you hit the shot. It's all about leverage.
Immediate cut.
This shot here, if I was caddying for him, I'd say, hey, this is not a birdie hole. Nobody's birdieing it. And I got a tough lie. Just get the ball 30 feet underneath the hole to the left, by the left edge of the TV tower.
It's from 176.
Just about right
He
there.
might have been listening to you, John.
First one, I'm right on all day, I think, with him.
That ball's not 30 feet from the hole. It's more like 50. 30 feet, it does not seem that long when you're actually up on the green. It's only 10 steps up to the hole. That's more like 17 steps, I think. Almost 20, almost 60 feet. But I think it's more like 50. But it was a good shot, and Phil certainly on an uphill putt like that, he should two-putt that fairly easily.
He's a tough guy to predict. Now Colin Montgomery
At 16, for birdie.
It's got just a little bit of hook to it is all, Gary. It should be a makeable putt here and a big one for Colin.
Fifth in the field and putts. Greens in regulation. There's a good one.
Well, he knows how important that was, huh, Gary?
So he hit it right where he was looking. Go up to 17. If you're up for birdie.
Well, the guy who knows just how important this is.
Never a chance. That was low, low, low.
Phil's dodging bullets.
Yes, he is. No one can make a putt at the moment. The lead is 2 for Phil Mickelson. He's taking another look at the birdie at 14. Very solid stroke. Gives him the 2-shot lead. And you see the New York fans, they're behind him all the way. We'll be back to the U.S. Open tomorrow.
Well, odds way up to the 15th green, Roger. We heard Phil Mickelson say this is a top 2 putt.
And he's right. This is about 35-footer up over a ridge. Once it crosses the ridge, it's going downhill away from him and to the right.
It goes right in this part, though. Shoots just a little bit. The guys have left it short. I can't say that was real bad, but that is knee knocker time, huh, Roger?
They all are now, Johnny.
Yeah, you don't want to have that like too many times.
Trying to hang on to his 2-shot lead. 17.
While we were away, talk about a knee knocker. Harrington for par. No. So bogeys at 16 and 17 for Harrington. He's headed in the wrong direction, but the MetLife Snoopy 1 is headed in the right direction. He's flying high above Wingfoot Golf Club, providing us with these wonderful aerial views of the 106th U.S. Open Championship. As we go back to 15.
Kenneth Ferry to remain at +6.
Just doesn't seem like the ball wants to go in here at this hole. It really wobbles a lot, Roger, down there. Have you noticed that?
I've noticed that on a lot of greens. John, it's the first time I've seen this one, so I can't speak to that. I've played it all day.
It's going to be his 5th bogey, not a single birdie for the co-leader with Mickelson. That was the unlikely duo in the final group here, but it's been the man ranked 2nd in the world who's taken charge over the man ranked 102nd in the world. But he needs this par putt to keep that 2-shot cushion, Roger.
Very similar to the birdie putt, huh, Roger?
Yeah, it really is, John. Not dissimilar at all. All about the nerves and hitting it squarely, hitting the solid putt.
That ball went in for by about a 16th of an inch. That could have ripped out
On the left side.
I thought he maybe spun it out of the top edge, Roger.
He's got some beefy par 4s down the stretch here with it.
So that's 15. He's only got 3 holes left, and he has a 2-stroke lead on the field. Wow, he was really in the driver's seat here.
The 2-shot lead in the championship that he's never won. And we go to one of those right now, the 450-yard par 4. 18th, Jim Furyk has arrived here at +5, and he's in that tie for second now with Montgomery and Ogilvy. They're the closest to Mickelson right now.
He already started his pre-shot routine once and has pulled the yardage book out now 3 times.
He's got the 3-wood, huh, Dottie?
Yeah, I think it's a smart play. A little bit easier to shape, even though it is into the breeze.
Well, it's that 282 that he was worried about with the drive. The 3-wood, he doesn't have to draw it. He just hit it right at the bunker, left side of the bunker, and he'll have no problem.
Right, it's 291 just into that bunker, so this is a really good play.
I know he's thinking, if I could somehow birdie this hole,
That's a beauty.
if I can get to +4, I think he's thinking right now.
Had a terrible bounce.
Yep, then it rolls almost up against the fringe, and I think he might be barely okay, but that is not sitting real great. It's just sitting like into the grain.
18, second toughest hole this week. We go over to 16.
Jeff Ogilvy from the second cut of the primary rough, 176 yards to the hole. Just hacking it down the fairway.
He hopes it's in the fairway.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's getting a lot of run, John. It's turning out okay.
Yeah.
A simple little pitch from there, right up the face of the green. Now back on the tee. So if Mickelson can make a couple of good swings with the driver coming home, Johnny.
Yeah, 2 fairways in regulation. He had one on the edge, a couple on the edge, but
Got my left. This should set up well for him.
he hasn't hit many quality cut shots.
He's hit more poles than he's hit all catch shots.
And he's trying to hit a release cut. That's what Rick Smith was saying.
This ball down the right side, not cutting.
Now it's going to be
Oh, it's sitting up.
the primary rough, but you're right. It looks like it's sitting fairly well. Up at 17, Montgomery on the tee. Hole sets up beautifully for him. Moves a little left to right. That's his natural ball flight. He's overdone it. That's well right of the fairway.
Give him a little extra roll, and it's in the dry stuff.
Green. Stricker with his third. This is quick.
Made it look easy.
Yeah, he did. Hasn't stopped yet, though, Johnny.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big game. That's a tough hole location there.
Yeah, it is.
How many birdies?
2 all day long.
Man.
Up to 18.
Luke Donald for par a moment ago. He was in position somewhat to begin the day, just 5 off the lead. Rolls it in there to stay at +9, so
At no point did he think that was in.
the Lukes reverberate here through Wingfoot. 16.
Ogilvy's third. Decide how you're going to play it. You're going to carry it onto the green, or you're going to land it short and bounce it up. He plays it very effectively. Hanging there at 5 over. Good chance to save par. His first 6 holes today, -2. His last 9 +4. And it was kind of a trend that was set early today. We saw some good scoring through the first 6 or 7 holes. A lot of players have struggled since then.
I can't say that anybody has played a great 2006 U.S. Open. I mean, tee to green or been on fire or really dominated, you know, hit great shots. It just sort of, the course has just sort of pulled everybody down a little. It's a tough course.
Well, we're on our way to the next USGA Championship in Newport. That's where Tiger put away his second of his 3 straight U.S. Amateur Championships. It's the women's turn. Don't miss the most celebrated players in the game, including Annika Sorenstam. And yes, Michelle Wee will be there to look to break through with her first win as a professional. It's the U.S. Women's Open. Coverage begins Saturday, July 1st on NBC.
Should be super exciting. The women's game has really come on. That last year's Women's Open I thought was as compelling as any golf of the year.
Birdie Kent holding it out.
Yeah, Morgan Phillips standing there.
Yep. All right, here's Furyk at 18. Last gasps coming up for the guys chasing Mickelson here, and there just hasn't been any birdies at 17 and 18, Johnny. A total of 5 birdies have been made at 17 and 18 today. As you look at the leaderboard, unless Mickelson backs up, that's what all these guys need.
Yeah, if he can get in at 5, Mickelson could play the last 3, 2, a couple over. There's no doubt about that.
Could. It's always in the cards here.
He's in the rough, Mickelson is. This is not an easy shot, this French here, though.
Actually, Johnny lies very good, 184 yards. It's actually just a little bit downgrade.
He doesn't like it for some reason. Well, maybe he does. Hit a hook, huh? Didn't that grass turn the club over or something?
It shouldn't have. I just don't think it was a very good swing at the necessary time.
At the 17th, Steve Stricker for par.
This is an unusual little break there, isn't it?
Actually, moving left, didn't appear that it would. Steve Stricker drops back to 7 over. He's closing holes. Not many pars being made. So we got 18.
This is the place where Harrington had his undoing yesterday. Padraig Harrington would be tied for the lead right now, if not for a triple bogey on this hole yesterday. He's sitting right in the middle of the fairway today. Boy, wishes he could have that one back yesterday, Johnny. Now, late in the day when he was just a couple shots off the lead or so.
This hole can be had. That whole location is in a funnel. If you can just hit it in the middle of the green, it'll come right by the hole. It's the historic Bobby Jones.
Remember, Harrington just missed about a 4-footer on 17. Or he would be 5 over now, which would be put him in very good position. And this shot, let's see where it ends up. But
Hole out position, last hole, 72nd hole, he made the putt.
Made the 12-footer curling left to righter to
wow,
tie Allison's noses after blowing a huge lead.
so many of these guys had a chance to win. Let's see what Monty can do next up here.
At the 17th, Colin Montgomery's second. The right rough, good news is he's got it in the area where the galleries walked the grass down.
We saw the shot yesterday, didn't we? Wasn't it by Ogilvy or something?
Yes, Jeff Ogilvy hit yesterday.
Well, actually, that ball clipped the tree, and I think it helped it. It would have been long.
Well, it's nicely done in the center of the green.
All right, Ellen, nice and loose. Here we go. Whoa!
Back at 16, Nicholson. How's the line, Roger?
Well, actually, Kenneth Farrell will be first to play. 187 yards to the hole, just off the edge of the fairway. Good lie.
In the group in front, Jeff Ogilvy was able to knock in that putt for par. He's trying to get that thing to chase up. This doesn't quite do it.
Still fighting, Gary.
Yes, he is. Got to give him credit.
It's only 5 over today.
That's right. Nobody gave him a chance either. All right, now Mickelson.
174, a pretty good lie. His stick would set up. No, this is a pretty good looking shot. If it gets out, no.
Beautifully positioned, about 20 yards short of the green.
That just barely went in, didn't it? It could have bounced straight if it wouldn't hit the bunker.
That is the worst we've seen all week. Right there.
Again, you've got to attribute that to Phil having that bad lie in the rough, which goes back to course management. He should not have hit a driver off the tee there. At that point, he had only hit 2 drives in the fairway out of 12. And or at this point, he's only hit 2 in the fairway out of 12. On the tee, he'd hit 2 in the fairway out of 11. But when you're hitting your driver that poorly, you've got to switch to a lesser club. these holes at the end are not that long. I mean, 450 yards. These guys can hit 4 irons or 3 irons maybe, 270 yards. And so on a 450 yard par 4, they still only have 180 in, which for them is a 7 iron or an 8 iron. I mean, golly, come on, guys.
For all the short game magic. Up at 17. Jeff Ogilvie on the tee.
He's playing Poulter's.
Yeah, that was where he hit it yesterday. They played the miraculous second shot. Well, people are seeing a lot of golf balls to the right on 17.
I'll tell you, Ogilvie, he just got it up and down from 50 yards on 16, and he drove it into the trees on 17. You got to wonder if he thought he had any chance at all at this point, because he's 2 strokes behind Mickelson, and he's hitting the ball in the trees on every hole. Let's see what happens, though. You won't believe it.
Go back to 18.
Jim Furyk gets out of the bunker and practices the swings. One of the best players you'll find anywhere.
Just a little bit of a downhill lie.
See the number of rollouts with Furyk through the years.
Well, you can see he's trying to read the green.
No, he's definitely thinking about making this shot.
He's got that kind of looping swing that you like out of the bunker.
Yeah, drops it in. Goes out and then in.
Very well done, but the best that Furyk will be able to post is +5.
Well, Mickelson's buried under the lip. You know, who knows? Mickelson's still got 2 super hard holes to be bogeys. 16, he's still got 2 super hard holes on 17 and 18. I'm sure Furyk's thinking about that 3 putt he had, though.
So stick around, Jim. Look at that line there.
Yeah, it is in there deep. I guess the good news, though, Roger, is he's left-handed. He's going to be able to stand in the bunker and not have an awkward stance at all.
Well, absolutely. The ball is pretty buried, though. In a good spot.
That 64-degree comes in handy here, guys, because it's sharper edges, doesn't have a lot of bounce to it, so you can really dig here.
It's hard to get the right distance, so isn't it? He's aiming way left for a pull.
Up at 17, Montgomery with a lengthy birdie putt. Ball moved pretty hard to the right at the end. How about this one for Colin Montgomery? Oh my goodness! What a birdie!
That's the part of the championship right there, Gary.
He might be tied for the championship in just a couple of moments with Mickelson's position over at 16, Gary.
I think he's thinking about crying right now.
He looks very emotional, Johnny.
That's Harrington's ball coming toward the hole for birdie at 18.
Wow, what a change of events with Montgomery making that long putt. He's only 4 over now. And Mickelson is having all kinds of problems with his driver, and he's 3 over. He's got to make that 20-footer from the fringe there to stay 3 over. So he's probably going to drop to 4 over and be tied with Montgomery, and Montgomery only has 1 hole to play. I'll tell you, he is definitely, Montgomery all of a sudden is in the driver's seat here, for sure, with only 18 to play. And Phil has to play 17 and 18. And you're much, much more likely to make a bogey than a birdie on those 2 holes.
So he's got a long putt to get +6 on the board. Come on, go put a charge into this thing.
What a putt.
The M&M boys here, Wingfoot, Monty, and Mickelson, could be tied in just a couple of moments. Another look at The Monty putt.
You can see him wiping his nose. I mean, this thing, there's a shot of adrenaline that's gone through his system that he just, almost a grateful feeling, I think, of this opportunity. His head is going.
Disappointment. Oakmont, the playoff with Lauren Roberts and Ernie Ellis on a hot, sweltering day at Oakmont in the Congressional in '97, where it came unraveled on the 71st hole.
Back at 16, Mickelson choosing the putter from off the green.
Putting through this bit of fringe quite a little bit. It's going to be a tough putt to get to the hole uphill.
Steeply uphill.
Got it there.
Well, Colin Montgomery going to share the lead.
Yeah, Montgomery has a hole coming up that he's talked about before the championship again. I remember Monty remarking that that dog leg left at 18 doesn't set up well for his fade shot, but he's going to have to figure out a way to negotiate it, although he's made fours every day so far at 18.
Those wild drives, Gary.
Finally caught up to him on this hole.
Yeah.
All right, bogey 5 at 16. He's 4 over the ball. We go to 18.
This is to post the +5. Furyk wants to take another look. He hasn't had it back off. That's a little different type of back off. We're going to get one more look from the other side.
He's being extremely deliberate this last hour.
He also took a really good look at the leaderboard. Both he and Fluff Cowan studied it while Harrington was playing. They know exactly what the deal is.
Who knows, this could be a putt for a spot on the playoff.
This moves right, doesn't it, Dottie?
Yes, it does, Johnny.
He's just grinding away, Dottie.
Keep thinking back to that 3-putt by Furyk at 15, which cost him a big bogey, his only bogey this backside.
Wow.
The grinder of all grinders doing his thing here. The 72nd hole of the Open.
Can't afford to miss her. Grimace on that. That was not that hard of a putt except for the situation. Just basically, you hit the left edge or just outside, make it.
+6 doesn't look near as good.
No, 6 is no chance, I don't think.
Got a couple of +4s behind him, and Monty Mickelson. Ogilvy at +5. Harrington has already missed his par putt, so Harrington spurs down the stretch with 3 straight bogeys, and that one, we'll see what they end up, but if they end up at +5, Furyk will think about that one for a while.
Yeah, the putt at 3-putt at 15, and then that putt at 18, those were the 2 key shot sort of missteps by Furyk.
Harrington at +7. Looks like he'll have to wait another day for his shot at a major. Monty waiting on the tee at 18. We go to the tee. Our hole back with the man he's tied with, Gary.
Mickelson with the driver once again. This is the big Norway spruce. About 100 yards off the tee. That's what forces the players to try to shake the ball from left to right.
Didn't have to hit a driver.
Way rough. Oh my goodness.
That driver, I'd be going with the forward if I was him at this point, because he could drive it right through the dogleg, couldn't he, if he doesn't hook it?
I would think so, Johnny. It's got to be easy to turn the ball in the direction he's trying to turn it with more lofted club.
This is like an...
Again, I don't know what's wrong with Phil, why he was hitting a driver on all those holes. I mean, Phil is a super long hitter of the ball. He doesn't need the 325-yard drive on most of these holes. He can hit a 4-wood or a 3-wood, whatever he carries. He can hit a 2 or 3 iron, whatever he's got in his bag that's not a driver but is the longest club is what I would be using to tee off there. I mean, he's got so much length. I don't know what he's thinking. And I wonder about Bones, his caddy, not Jim Mackay, not lowering the boom on laying the law down on him and saying, Phil, we got to start getting some of these tee shots in the fairway. You're having to hit recovery shots on every hole.
Nice line.
This is his third shot, Johnny. He drove it way right, couldn't even punch out to the fairway.
That was a muffy.
Wow, so Ogilvy again, I mean, he got it up and down from 50 yards on 16. This is 17, and that's his third shot already. I mean, he must have thought he had no chance to win on both of these holes. Watch what happens. It's amazing.
There.
That will get hung up, so we'll be...
And he didn't get that one on the green after 3 shots, so he's going to be hitting his 4th shot now. Let's see what happens.
Struggling as well. He's closing holes. Taking their toll. We got 18.
Biggest tee shot of his career, Johnny. This par 4 18 time for the lead in the U.S. Open. All the disappointments through the years. He's right across Mickelson and trouble at 17. The par here might be good enough to get it done.
He's got a great chance. If he can make 4 here, I think it's better than 50-50 right now that he's going to win the Open outright.
Just a little bit of breeze, Johnny. His face here, he's got it teed up on the right-hand side, so evidently going to play a cut.
Remember, Monty's only 4 over here, and he just hit a great drive right down the middle of the fairway, like we all expect out of Monty. He's an incredibly straight hitter of the ball. And so all he's got to do, if he hit that drive 280, which probably it went 290, but even if he hit it 280, he's only got 170 into this green. This is only a 450-yard par 4. 170, boy, that could be between a 8 and a 7 for him. Not sure what he'll hit, but he is in the driver's seat, I'll tell you. All he has to do is hit it on the green and 2-putt, and he's going to win this thing. Let's see what happens.
In the fairway at 18. Mickelson, is he going to let another U.S. Open slip away?
Well, while we're away, Jeff Ogilvy's 4th at 417. The line's good. The line's good.
So Ogilvy chips in on 17 for a par on a straight downhill chip. That was the one that Furyk's ball landed in the rough over there, and the sideboard bounced it to the left, and it rolled almost directly in front of the hole. But that thing was downhill like you wouldn't believe, and Ogilvy chipped it in. It would have gone 10 or 15 feet past probably if it hadn't hit the pin and gone in. But now Ogilvy's 5 over going to the tee on 18. And he has made a par on 16 from 50 yards and 17 by chipping in from the fringe. Unbelievable. Okay, let's see what happens. Monty still has the tournament to win or lose, basically. Phil is in the woods, something fierce on 17. And it's all Monty has to do is just hit it on the green, probably, and he's going to win it outright. Unless Phil can save it on 17 and par 18.
What a par!
That's unbelievable.
often to get into a playoff, Johnny, or have a chance to win this thing. It's going to be his short game that has held him in there. As we go back and see what's going on with Mickelson, Roger.
Mickelson's tee shot flew into a plastic garbage bag on the side of the fairway garbage can and came to rest inside the garbage can amongst the beer cans. And of course, he's gotten relief from that. He's dropped the ball immediately underneath the spot where it had come to rest in the garbage can, and has a reasonable line, hard pan.
What about the trees?
Well, he's going to hit a cut. I mean, he does have to hit a cut, but he's going to have a lie where he can play a cut, a tight lie. If it had been in a heavier rough, he wouldn't have had any opportunity probably to do that. So he's got a shot.
How big a cut are we talking about?
Well, you're talking about it'll require a lot of his skill. I want to say he's going to start it at the right edge of the right bunker and slice it probably 20 yards or so.
To a very difficult hole location.
Well, a very narrow green, too, Johnny. It's only about 14 yards across between those bunkers.
Well, he's just trying to make a par, I would think, from here on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anywhere around the green, he can get it up and in. He just needs to hit a pretty good shot that's not dead like the last hole.
That's right. I'm sure when he saw where his ball came to rest, he was thankful.
Is that ball above his feet, though?
Not really, Johnny, no.
Looks like on TV. That's a green spot. It looks like it has some juicier grass. Is that right?
A little bit, but again, it's not bad. Better than he thought he would get. He's got this ball cutting. It's just right in the hole. How about that? Pretty good shot there.
So Phil had a great shot there. He couldn't even see the green, but he knew exactly what he needed to do. And Phil, you know, someone like Phil Mickelson can curve the ball 50 yards at least from both ways, meaning draw and fade. And he just, you notice he held off kept the face open there and executed the shot beautifully. So he's up in the middle of the green here on 17. He got himself out of that trouble. Again, he has only hit 2 tee shots in the fairway out of 13 so far. Let's see if he can two-putt this and move on to 18 at 4 over.
He's gotten it up and down from every other place this week. And we might as well get it from a trash can, right?
Exactly.
Let's take another look. See him pull off that club face, keeping it open to make sure the ball fades. And now he does a little Sergio imitation there, kind of hustling up to
His version.
Hey, well,
I didn't see a scissor kick, Gary.
probably won't. All right, there's another look from above. Just threads it under one tree and slides it by the other.
But we're talking about the guy that got about 3 inches off the ground after winning the Masters for his first major title, right, Gary?
Well, that's exactly right, Danny. You know, it's fun to watch him play in those situations. He really plays golf like an artist when he does stuff like that. And Ferry playing his third.
The crowd's starting to get very vocal late in the afternoon here, and it's starting to get to Kenny Ferry a little bit.
It's a very well played shot. Sure, he's disappointed, but he's really handled himself pretty nicely. Position he's never been in before. Up at 18.
BJ Singh playing with Colin Montgomery, punching out as a +8 mark.
Yeah, he has really finished very poorly. He hits this one right around the tree, though. It's going to end up short, but a pretty good shot. He actually drove the ball into the Champions Pavilion.
There it is, right down in front of one of those big shoulders. And Monty has been waiting nervously out there for this second mark. What's he got?
Well, he's got 171 yards. He is on the right side of the fairway, and so is the whole location on the right side of the green. And I don't think he knows exactly how he stands right now.
He's got the perfect ball flight to knock it close to this right hole location with the high fade. And it's a funnel down there. If he can get a good shot, he's going to get inside 12 feet.
Well, he's been waiting down there, Johnny, but he's been waiting nearly 2 decades for a major championship. So what's another minute or two here?
I'm surprised he just switched clubs when you've had 10 minutes to figure it out.
Okay, I think Monty hit his drive 279 yards like I thought. And he has 171 yards left. Again, the reason he changed clubs, I think, is because he is between a 7 and an 8. And if I got the length of the clubs right, I think he changed from a 7 to an 8. It could have been from an 8 to a 7, but I think it was from a 7 to an 8. He's got a shorter club in his hand now than he had a second ago. But whatever it is, I mean, look how huge that green is. And for a guy like that with an 8-iron in his hand, I mean, he can sit out there with 30 balls if he aims for the middle of the green on every one of them and hit 25 of them on the green, at least. Most certainly he can do that. That is an enormous green. Now, it has a false front, but let's see how he gets on. Remember, he's only 4 over par. All he has to do is hit it on the green and 2-putt. And there's a bowl back there where the hole is. So if he can get it in that bowl, he might make a 3. But all he needs to do is get it over the false front, and he's home free.
This one is just a little right of flag. It's short, pretty short.
He said, what kind of shot?
Okay, what he did there is what a lot of people do when they are under a lot of pressure. Greg Norman used to do the same thing. They miss it to the right, and you have to really watch out for that. You don't turn your body into the shot. You use all arms, and you don't fire your hips properly, and that's what happens. It's very common when you're under tremendous pressure. You almost want it to hit itself, and you don't hit it normally. So let's see what he can do from there. It's amazing, really.
Right when it left his clubbing was off. And he's buried.
I'm really surprised he switched clubs after pulling out the other one.
17.
Lengthy birdie putt for Mickelson.
A little uphill over to the right, huh?
Is it firm enough? No. As Mickelson was walking up to the green, he takes a big look at the big scoreboard. It's exactly where he stands, and it's like, hey. All right, 18T.
Jeff Ogilvy alive by virtue of his par saver at 17 at +5. One back.
It's a good drive. It's very narrow down there, about 24 yards wide with an angle. And he's a long hitter, and he's hit a beauty.
Who knows, Johnny? He may not need a birdie here. Par +5.
Right in and hit the divot, I think. I think it went right in the divot. Just on the front of it, though.
Hard to tell exactly.
No, it wasn't in the divot. It just rolled out the front of it.
Now, Ogilvy did hit his tee shot into a divot, but he's got an uphill lie, and the ball is in the back of the divot. So all you have to do in that case is play it back in your stance, extend the divot toward the hole, and it should not be a problem at all. As a matter of fact, frequently you'll hit your best shot of the day out of a divot because it forces you to contact the ball properly, which is have it a little bit further back in your stance and hit down on it with your hands in front of it. And it usually goes very straight, and it has tons of spin on it and so forth. Let's see what Ogilvy can do. But first we got to deal with Monty because he's in the group in front of Ogilvy. He's still only 4 over par, tied with Mickelson. And Mickelson did make his par on 17, so this is really it right here. Now Monty's second shot was about 20 yards short of the pin, and in that thick rough to the right. And remember, there's a hump there, so he's got a difficult pitch here. Let's see how he's able to negotiate it.
Monty comes up amid a smattering reaction. I think everybody's just a little.
That was just literally amazing. Absolutely open pressure. That shot, he hadn't hit an iron like that probably in 5 years. I mean, that was just really bad.
Well, Mark, what kind of lie is this? What kind of shot is this?
Well, the lie is not good, and the other problem is there's a big nose in the front right corner of the screen, so he will be landing it on the downslope and probably trying to run it by the hole and let it come back. BJ's going to play first.
He doesn't have much of a shot. He's got it. Well, he can go around it, can't he?
The horn just went off. Yeah, the crowd reacts to that. Talk about bad timing.
I think Monty watched this one very closely to see how the ball reacts on the green.
All right, before we get to the draw at 18, back at 17 for all that is left for another par, Gary, with another missed fairway.
Yeah, well, he got very fortunate. Here the ball was all the way over to the area where the gallery had walked down. So.
He has studied the scoreboard and left this game intensely when he was outstanding.
Gary, this is one of
All right, so Phil is 4 over. Phil is 4 over going into 18. Monty is 4 over, but he's in the rough there, and he's looking way left, as you can see, over there somewhere. He doesn't feel like he can flop it up in the air and land it, say, here, and let it shoot downhill, go past the hole, and then dribble down from the peak up there. This pin was cut in a bowl over here, so if you can make it a reasonable roll by, it'll roll back down toward the hole. But he didn't go for that. He decided to pitch this ball way over to the left, and he pitches it with very good contact. Oops.
Remember seeing anything better, Dan, that's for sure.
All right, Monty from a rough at 18.
It's juicy.
Pops up way long.
He might play the way the ball come back. Maybe. Nope, it hangs up. Just hit it in the only spots you have no chance. Huh, Mark? Just brutal here. Let's just.
I mean, you'll see that the shot comes out of here no problem. Really clean and fresh and everything. He didn't have to gouge this out. I don't think his lie was as bad as Mark Rolfing said. And he hit it plenty far. He hit it too far. And he didn't land on the downslope much. So he just contacted this ball way better than everyone was letting on, which leads me to believe that he could have laid the face back and just hit more of a flop shot, more toward the pin. But that's an execution issue, kind of. Part of it is deciding what to do, meaning course management. But, this was a tough shot, and he didn't want to flub it and not get it on the green. But the major mistake, course management-wise, is still to come, and I'm going to explain that in just a second.
Fix it up quick. Watch what happens at impact. He keeps the hands going pretty good. I guess he was playing it way over.
See, there was hardly any grass there, and the ball shot out of there beautifully. He must have had a good lie.
To the left. But that was a brutal second shot.
Right now, Monty needs another bomb like the one he had at 17, but this is for par.
Well, he needs to be just a little careful with the pace on this one, too.
Now, yeah, Mark Rolfing's right there, because this is a putt that Monty would make. It'd be a huge surprise, let's put it that way, maybe 2 or 3% of the time. It's a 40-foot putt at least. So his odds of making this, now, I used to be a card counter in casino, in the game of blackjack in casinos all over the place, Marino, Las Vegas, everywhere. And you learn a lot about statistics when you count cards, because you're sitting in there all day for 6 hours playing blackjack hand after blackjack hand. Now you are counting the cards as they go by to tell you what to do in different situations, And a computer has figured it out for you. So you don't have to sit there and calculate the odds on every play that you make if you're counting cards. However, you do learn a lot about statistical chances and what's likely to happen and what isn't. And I can tell you right now, Monty is 4 over par. Phil is, let's say he's on the tee now. There is a much greater chance that Phil Mickelson is going to bogey 18 than it is that Monty is going to make this 50-footer or 40-footer. So Monty has to make sure that he two-putts this putt. That is what he needs to do. Make sure that you two-putt it, because that'll put you at 5 over. You're still only going to make a bogey if you two-putt this. And Phil, who is making bogeys like crazy during the day, I think he made 5 bogeys out of 18 holes. So think about this for a second. Phil's chance of bogeying 18 is about a 1 in 3 proposition. It's about 6 out of 18, because 18 is way harder than the average hole out here. So Phil has about a 1/3 chance of making a bogey and keeping Monty in it at 5 over. And Monty only has a 2% chance, let's say, of making this putt. So you're comparing 33 and a third percent versus 2%. That means Monty should not take a run at this putt and try to make it. He should lag it up and tap it in and hope that Phil makes a bogey. That is his best chance. And of course, what he does is just the opposite. So this is a major course management mistake on Monty's part. Let's watch it and see. Lee Westwood did the same thing in the British Open the year that Tom Watson bogeyed the last hole. He was 1 stroke behind Watson, and Watson's chance of bogeying the last hole were very high relative to Lee making about a 60 or 70 footer on the last hole, and he whacked it way by and missed it coming back. Just makes no sense. It's like these golfers aren't great at statistical reasoning when it really comes down to it. They really aren't, and I'm shocked, because these guys are very smart about golf, but they always make this mistake. They think they have to make the next shot instead of letting the other golfer make a mistake when the percentage chance of that is very high. I mean, it was a long time ago, but I got 800 on the math SAT twice. And it's questions like this, in disguise, of course, and more difficult, that you have to get right to score an 800 on the math SAT. And I don't know what these guys scored, but if they're making mistakes like this, they have no chance. So let's see what happens with Monty.
Too, Johnny, because if you get a racing by the hole,
he needs one of those Greg Norman type of par savers here at the 72nd hole. Norman with that curling 40-footer to get.
So the announcer there is wrong. Dan, he's saying that Monty needs to make this. He needs to do the same thing that Greg Norman did when he made his years ago. No, he just needs to two-putt this and let Phil make a bogey. It's not an easy hole at all. Look at all these people that have made bogeys. Furyk, Harrington, just about everybody that's gone through there has made a bogey that we've seen. Let's see what happens here. So Monty's looking at this.
Dan, he hit the second shot like Norman hit the second shot here on almost. Norman's was further right.
Speaking of 1984, Fuzzy Zeller out in the fairway at 18. Norman went long and right with a 6-iron, hit his third at this point, just on the collar there. And the shot knocked it in to get into the playoff. He eventually lost the next day with Fuzzy Zeller, but a part of the legend and lore here at Wingfoot.
Okay, so there's Greg Norman making that long putt to get into the playoff with Zeller, who was waiting out in the fairway. Fuzzy Zeller always had a great attitude about golf, and he passed on recently, which was too bad. But anyway, Norman missed his approach shot to the green way to the right, just like people do under a lot of pressure. And I remember at Augusta when Norman had it wrapped up once, He hit it into the bunker on the right on 18. But anyway, let's watch and see what Montgomery does. Obviously thinking he needed to make that long putt. He just needed to two-putt it. If you want to play the odds right, you go for the two-putt on 18 because there's such a great chance that Phil's going to make a bogey and you're going to get in the playoff. At least you keep yourself alive that way.
Fuzzy waving the flag. The towel out in the fairway. But a lot of historic stuff has happened here, including 1929. Bobby Jones made his 12-footer. Monty well outside of that here for par.
This one's not going in. This one might not go in after a while. Boy, this is...
So he just crushes it, thinking he's got to make sure he doesn't leave it short, he's got to go for it, all that nonsense. He just needed to lag it up and tap it in, and now he's got a 15-footer to two-putt it. With all the mistakes he's made on this hole, he goes and gives himself a 15-footer for his second putt. And I mean, everybody in the stands knew he was going to miss it. Let's see what happens.
Sad. It is difficult to watch when you think about all the close calls that Montgomery has had. I mean, Mickelson has not won this championship either and has been a runner-up 3 times, but this man, and all that's happened to him, to get this close. Mickelson was just told by the walking score, he asked, wanted to know, and was told that Monty's par putt was missed.
Yeah, what he doesn't know is that Ogilvy is in birdie position, and he probably isn't even factoring in Ogilvy.
And there it is, Johnny. It is right in front of that.
And the worst part of it is a sand-filled divot, which is, he's probably thinking, come on, I got a chance to win the U.S. Open and I go in a sand-filled divot.
I'm thinking Kane Stewart at Olympic Club. Remember that in '98?
This one's, I think, even worse. This has got a lot of green sand, greenish gray sand in there.
Just a part of the game.
But this important putt right here, who knows what Phil might do since he's hit 2 fairways.
Is to put +5, take the lead in the clubhouse.
All right, so Monty did 3-putt. Instead of lagging it up, he tried to make the first one by hitting it way too hard, which makes the hole smaller too. It just makes no sense to do that. And now he's 3-putted it. So he was, in 2, he was off the edge of the green to the right. I mean, 10 yards at the most, maybe 8 yards from the edge of the green. He couldn't even chip it on in 2-putt, let alone get it up and down. Cost him the tournament. Disastrous course management there at the end. I'm not talking about the second shot either. That was an execution mistake. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th shots were the 5th one was an execution also. But the 3rd and 4th ones were course management mistakes. He chose the wrong shot. All right, so he's out of it now.
Perfect spot in the fairway.
Double bogey. Double bogey, puts in at 6 over. He's out of it. Okay, let's see what Phil does. Phil is 4 over on the tee. And Ogilvy's in the divot at 5 over in the middle of the fairway.
That hung for a while.
Looks like Colin Montgomery is going to be over 58 in major championships. I mean, he is the modern-day Mickelson.
If he could have made 4 here, forget the 3, he had a great chance.
All right, BJ for par. To finish his day with a 73. And then clear the stage for the final 2 groups. Ogilvy out there with a chance here behind him. Coaxes it in, and he's got a 7th consecutive top 10 in a major championship.
Yeah, he could have won this week if he made a few more putts. But
top for 6, DJ. Colin Montgomery. We'll wonder if there'll ever be another chance. That was a golden opportunity. All right. Poulter now. Back behind down the fairway.
Shouldn't let go.
He's at +9, not a factor. But he's playing with a man who is a factor. Jeff Ogilvy at +5, and look at his position.
Yep. That's a really bad break, but he can get on it. He can hit a little bit of one groove down and try to hit a little bit of a cut. Doesn't look like he's playing that shot.
Johnny's right about that. It was only, he missed that by 2 feet. So he didn't have any problem at all with the divot. You just play it back in your stance a little, extend the divot toward the hole. It's going to have tons of spin. You got to carry it far enough. And he didn't quite carry it far enough, and it spun all the way down the hill. Now he's got a tough up and down, but it's very doable. I mean, the hole is in a bowl there. There's a big hump in front of it. Then the hole is at the bottom of the hill there, and it goes way up behind the hole. So it's going to slow down a shot that's pitched properly onto the top of the hill.
Really, 2 horrendous breaks in a row.
There it is out of this divot.
Let's see if he gets sand on the wrong side of the ball and he hits it. Yeah, a little bit, just enough to come up short. Just about that much.
All right, tee shot to Mickelson.
It's better be a forward.
Now, while we have this view, I've got to tell you, do you see this hospitality tent right here? It goes parallel to the out of bounds. It's out of bounds, and it goes parallel to the out of bounds fence there. That is the hospitality tent that Phil hits this tee shot onto the roof of here. So watch this. It's just unbelievable.
Doesn't like this one.
Way left, way left. Oh, what a bounce out into the right to the right. I don't think that'll leave him much.
Hospitality tent.
I'll tell you what, right now, Ben Hogan is officially rolled over in his grave.
Okay, so Phil hit that ball so far to the left, you almost can't believe it. And it bounced off the roof of the hospitality tent, which was out of bounds, and bounced back into the golf course over the fence. And he ended up in a great lie where everyone had trampled it for 4 days, and it's absolutely flat lie over there. And it's amazing what happens from here on. It's very sad. Phil has never won the U.S. Open. Now that we're in the 2020s, 2026 this year, Phil has come in second 6 times at the U.S. Open. That's a record. At this point, this is the 4th time he came in second. But watch what happens. It's just unbelievable.
Well, Johnny, I do believe he knows what score Colin Montgomery made here at the last. The scoreboard to the left of the 17th green, the score went up there, and the fans around the 18th team started to cheer. So I think he knows 5 wins.
And he's got a barrel eye. He's gone from a garbage can on 17 to the corporate 10 on 18.
I cannot believe he didn't hit forward there.
Kenneth Ferry off the tee now.
Remember how I just told you that Monty hit his drive 279 yards with his driver on this 450-yard hole, and he was left with 180 yards to that huge green. Gosh, Phil can hit his 3-iron without question further than Monty can hit his driver, or further than he did on this hole. Let's put it that way. Phil can use a club that lays him up short of that bunker out there, like Monty did. Monty was short of the bunker, and he would have an 8-iron at the most into the green from 180. Absolutely. Monty might have hit an 8. He either hit an 8 or a 7, and Phil is at least one club longer than Monty. I've never played with Phil, but I've played in one tournament that he played in also. Neither of us made the cut, but Phil is a super long hitter, and everybody knows it. And I mean, he's earlier in the day he flew his drive 307 yards on a par 4 and landed in a greenside bunker. So he's just super long, and he could take a 3-iron and hit it right out there short of the bunker and hit an 8-iron on the green all day long. I can't believe he used a driver. Again, he missed it so far to the left that it went over these trees and landed in this on the roof of this white hospitality tent over here. Unbelievable. Let's see what happens from here on. He's still not dead by any stretch. If he had made the right decision on the next shot, he'd have been fine. Oops.
Beautiful tee shot. Just being drawn along with the drama here between Mickelson and Ogilvy.
And that ball may be in the divot.
Anything you can detect here, Johnny, from this swing?
It's just a classic. You don't release your right side, left side. In his case, comes down in pretty good shape there. Maybe overswung a little. He's late coming into it. He releases probably 3 inches late, possibly because of nervousness and also overswinging. Faces open, and out it goes.
Best score in right now is +6. This man Ogilvy is at +5.
By the way, the best thing you can do when you're under tons of pressure and it's a narrow fairway and you're trying to win your club championship and you have the final hole to go and all these stressful things that are going to make you maybe not put your best swing on it like Phil did there. Take a club that you can hit very low and that you can hit straight and hit a low straight shot off the tee. It will not go as deeply into the rough if you do happen to hit it way offline. The lowness will make it be rolling when it gets to the rough, and the rough will slow it down. It won't get into the trees. That's much better than a high shot that's up there in the air floating in the wrong direction. It's going to go way into the trees. Hit the low shot if you're under a lot of pressure. Gosh, the same thing.
I have a delicate look at the giant shoulder on that front right.
This is
portion of this green.
This is absolutely a crazy shot right here. How tough this is. This is where you need a 64-degree wedge. But he could play it. He could do it. Under this pressure, it's tough. Taking a big gamble and just hits it perfectly. I mean, just a beautiful strike there.
Just the third U.S. Open for the 29-year-old from Melbourne, Australia, who makes his home here in the United States and Arizona. A couple of PGA Tour wins and a big one earlier this year in the Match Play Championship. Considered by many to be one of the stars of the future on tour. And you just saw Norman's exploits here back in '84 here at Wingfoot. Denied so many major championships, heartbroken by a number of miraculous shots at great times in championships. We'll see if Ogilvy can kind of maybe make up a little. Who knows? We'll see. But here's Poulter to play before. Well, we wait, Roger, what about a report on Mickelson's situation at lie?
Well, it's out where the gallery has rocked, so the lie is clean, and he does have some kind of an opening where he'd have to play a high, big slice, but he has the lie where he could try to play it from 210 yards, so let's see what happens. I can't imagine him pitching out, Johnny. just can't see it.
I feel like I'm watching 70 by steroids.
For Ogilvy's par attempt, Poulter for birdie.
This is the Norman putt, isn't it?
Okay, Poulter just had the putt that Monty had, except Poulter's was about 5 feet longer. And that's what Monty should have done. He should have just lagged it down the hill there, and it even flattens out at the hole. I mean, it was a very easy putt. You almost can't leave it short because the downhill keeps it rolling, and then it flattens out and stops right by the hole. Wow, he just doesn't understand the statistics of golf very well. That the odds are way in the favor of Phil making a bogey than they are him making that putt. And by the way, if his putt had hit the edges of the hole at all, it had no chance of going in. It was going way too fast. So even if it's a life and death situation, you should try to hit the putt the right speed.
Poulter's going to put +9 on the board, 74, second to last group. This championship Sunday at the Open, but there's Mickelson out there. Looking up ahead as Ogilvy has a far putt coming up. 74 for Poulter. No birdies. If Ogilvy doesn't make this, it'll make it a lot easier for Mickelson, who could put it away with a bogey.
He's got a hook putt. Not the most brutal putt there ever was, but under the situation, the hole probably looks like a thimble.
You roar down under if this falls. And it does! +5 is the lead right now. And Ogilvy owns it.
That was a courageous part out of that divot that he was in, the sand-filled divot, and to get that up and in from short of the green was miraculous. And that's good playing. 71, 70, 72, 72.
Okay, Ogilvy makes it. He's in at 5 over. Phil only lies 1 back in the rough over there. Again, Phil, with his skill, he can curve the ball 50 yards for sure if he has to. And he tries to hit it over that tree that's in front of him, and he may have hit behind it a little, like Johnny's going to say, and then he sort of knuckleball the low and straight into the tree branches. It hit something solid. Watch this. You're not going to believe it. All he has to do is aim at the, well, we'll see it from above, and I'll stop the video, and you're going to be able to see exactly what he was facing. And he did not need to go near that tree at all. Watch what happens.
So a par by Mickelson at 18 can win it. A bogey, we've got a playoff.
Precision golf was the key to winning U.S. Opens, but I guess I'm just getting old.
Well, it would almost be fitting if Mickelson scrambles out of this predicament to put away the U.S. Open, because that's the kind of week it's been for him.
By the way, this is very similar to the shot he had on 17, but I think he needs to curve this one more than on 17. Although on 17 he went below the first tree and then above the second tree. He doesn't need to do that here. He just needs to go around the trees. There's no reason to thread some funny needle through the tree branches there.
Wins the U.S. Open for Phil Mickelson, 7 o'clock here Eastern Time, Wingfoot Golf Club. 5th U.S. Open being staged here. Jeff Ogilvy of Australia has just posted +5.
Okay, here's the situation. Phil is back here, right here, where my pointer is. Here's the line of people. Now, I would have backed these people up a lot more because here's the trees he's got to worry about right there. There is no reason for Phil to try to hit this ball over this tree. All he has to do is aim at this edge of this bunker, hit a low bullet that's cutting like crazy, starting it at this bunker so it has no chance of hitting the tree. Way outside the tree here. And Phil's accurate enough to where 2 or 3 yards to the right of the tree is plenty. I mean, he's not even worried about these people that are here. And he's here hitting it. That's how accurate he is. But he could back these people up 5 yards, every one of them, these people 7 yards at the end here, get everybody completely out of the way, hit it here, and either hit a low bullet that cuts, which would land about in the crosswalk, and roll up, probably not onto the green, probably it would roll back down, and he'd have to get it up and down from here to win the tournament. And we all know how good Phil is around the greens. Or he could hit a ball that's high, because he's not worried about the tree anymore if he goes around it, hit a high shot way up here in the air, and try to carry it all the way to the green, like that. No problem for Phil. He can easily curve it the 35 yards or maybe 40 that he would need to curve this ball, because you got to measure the distance curve from where it will end up. So it'd be out here somewhere where my pointer is, which is below what y'all can see, but it's say straight down from here, this much of the screen. He's got to hit it straight at something out here, which is right in line with this edge of the bunker, and then curve it about 35 yards, and he'd land right in the middle of the green. But instead, he does some crazy thing where he's trying to hit it over this tree, which is very tall and right in front of him. So let's watch what he does. Definitely a decision error here. The other option he has, which is a good option, and pro golfers use it a lot, is he could just hit the ball into the crowd here, into the stands. Just hit it straight into the stands here. That will give him a drop right over here, maybe in the crosswalk, which will give him a perfect lie. Or maybe in the rough. I don't know where he'd go in the stands, but he can hit this ball easily out here and just curve it into the stands. Not quite curve it enough to get it on the green, or leave it where Monty was. He had no business risking hitting this tree, is what I'm trying to say. Let's say that he did the terrible thing of hitting a dead straight shot right at the edge of this bunker. So it goes way over here somewhere. Well, that's over here in trample land. He'd get a good lie over there. He could hit a little soft wedge right into the saucer here where the hole is. I mean, God, he had a million ways to, because it's dead downhill from this bunker, as you'll see when he tries to do something later. But it's dead downhill from here, and it flattens out around the hole a little bit. But anyway, watch what he does.
In the clubhouse, the leader there.
Got to hit this ball to the right of the tree.
210.
So we don't know yet, but he hit the tree solid, meaning he either hit it fat and it sort of took a low trajectory and went straight into the tree, or he misjudged it. He's 210 yards for him is probably a 6-iron. It would be a 6-iron because he can't hit a 7 that far. 7 goes about 195 or 200, and his 6 goes 210, and his 5 goes 225, and his 4 goes 260 or something. All right. Well, anyway, 255 or something. But anyway, he hit the ball straight into the tree. All he had to do is hit a ball to the right of the tree and just curve it like crazy, right up the throat of the green, or straight up the fairway is good enough. Let's see what happens.
and I believe it's gone backwards. And he still has got to be in a very bad situation.
He hit the ball straight into that tree right there that you saw.
Ogilvy
Golly.
might be signing the winning card.
Wow, you see the shock on his face right now. He knows he's hit a horrendous shot. Just look at this sullen look right there.
Again, you've heard of me talk about this concept before, and that is, which shot are you going to make when you're in trouble? Which shot are you going to decide is the critical shot for that hole? And you want to find the shortest, easiest way to make a par when you're in trouble like that. And Phil decided to hit the ball over that tree as the most critical shot on the hole, instead of punching it out and curving it like a duck slice up in front of the green or on it, and then letting the critical shot be the little flip wedge like the one that Ogilvy hit. That was the one that should have been the critical shot there, not this one. This had so many chances of being a problem. Golly, hit it straight into the tree. It hit the wood of the tree, the big branches, and came backwards, back to where he was.
Like action look. Like he aged 5 years on that shot.
Monty let it slip away earlier. Mickelson, he's on top of it.
I can see the pin plate.
Does he have a shot?
Well, Johnny, he's trying to see the flag. For him to play on that line, he would have to keep the ball unbelievably well. I don't know how the shot could work out. But it may be all he has. I don't think he can play over the trees from here and get a shot at the green.
Is the line as clean as a whistle, or is it sitting down? Is it
It's sitting down just a shade.
that last shot? Did he hit that fat? It sounded like
Well,
it.
it might have been. He certainly didn't get the altitude on it I thought he did.
He was trying to lift it, and you do that, your belly pops out, and you hit it heavy.
Traveled about
It is down
25 yards is all it did after hitting the tree.
65 front. Okay. You think this is not front end?
All right, so it's 165 to the front. He has an 8-iron there. He's got plenty of club, and that's to the front of the green now. The pin is another probably 20 yards further. He's got to get the ball to the top of that mound that Ogilvy landed on and spun back. He's got to land it there. If he lands it short of that, it's going to spin back down the hill, and he'll have to get it up and down for a bogey. He's got to land this ball well into the green to have any chance of making a par and to pretty much assure his bogey if he can just hit this on the green. But again, he's got trees in front of him, and so he's got a real problem. It's hard to know what to do here. I don't blame what he tried to do here, because he was desperate, and he sort of had to go over the trees here if he was able to, and he was. He shows that he would easily cleared the trees on this shot. He just hit it way offline.
I think this is what to make it 73 of the ball front. Something I'm definitely not thinking 9 at all.
So where's he going to hit this, right?
He's going to try to hoist it up across these trees in front of him. He's going to have to get it up quickly.
Well, he's taking a chance to lose that open out right here if he doesn't pull us off. Doesn't make it through the trees. You know, he's going to lose the open.
Remember, bogey gets him in a playoff.
He could play for the playoff, you know. You don't have to go for the gusto here.
This is the third.
Forward.
Way left. He's going to try to get it up and in from, well, it's got the front left bunker.
Fried egg in there.
All right, so he had plenty of height to get it over the trees, and he had plenty of length. That ball would have landed about hole high. But, of course, he hit it way offline. Now, he might have been aiming at the bunker, expecting to try to hook it onto the green, but or he was aiming straight at the hole and he pushed it way over there. There's no way to know. They didn't put the camera behind him, and you can't tell. But he got a fried egg lie there, and he's in real trouble now, trying to make a bogey from there. He's going to have to get it up and down from there to make a bogey, to get in a playoff with Ogilvy. If he double bogeys this, Ogilvy wins outright.
It is just implanted in that bunker, and Ogilvy has been watching all of it.
This is a nightmare right here. Absolutely, you couldn't have worse decisions than he's had, I think, on this hole. I don't care who you are. I know you all love Phil, but come on, you just got to make par on this hole. You can hit it 200, 300 off the tee, another long iron on the green, 2-5, and say, see you later.
Johnny's exactly right. Phil can hit his 2-iron or 3-iron, whatever he carries, the same distance that Monty hit that tee shot. And let me tell you, Phil could tee that ball low, play it back in his stance, and hit a bullet straight down the middle of the fairway at least 9 times out of 10. Maybe 92 times out of 100. I mean, even as wild as Phil is with his driver, he is not wild with his irons. He hits them straight as hell. And golly, what a mistake that was. Course management mistake. Never do that kind of thing. As a general rule, but not absolute by any stretch, if you can, you should postpone the critical shot on the hole to as late in the hole as possible, unless you happen to get a very easy shot. If he'd have hit a 3-iron off the tee and then an 8-iron on the green, the 8-iron would have been the critical shot. It's much better than letting his tee shot with a driver be the critical shot. Oh my God. It's a lot easier to hit an 8-iron straight than it is a driver under pressure. Good Lord. All right, let's see what happens.
You don't have to run down the last stretch on the white stallion. You know, you can limp in there and say thanks for the trophy.
Well, it is going to be some up and down. It's going to be need to be made.
When he sees this lie,
to get into +5, I mean, it is just awful lie.
Just crazy shot selection. I'm sure Jack Nicklaus is there in Florida and he's thinking, man, Phil.
Mentioned Ogilvy has been watching. He saw it.
I mean, he's got a great chance to win the Open. He had no idea he was going to win the Open.
Mickelson needs to get it up and down. And if he does it, Ogilvy's the U.S. Open champion. Ferry out.
I mean, can you believe this? After all this time, this is Kenneth Ferry's second shot, and he only has 151 yards to the hole. Could Phil have hit a 3-wood or a 4-wood as far as Kenneth Ferry hit his driver out there? Yes. And he would have had a pitching wedge to the green. God, I don't know what he was thinking when he pulled that driver. That just makes no sense.
With his second.
151. Waiting quite a while for all the hubbub to die down. People crossing around. This is a good looking shot here.
This is one bizarre finish.
You can see that location.
Yeah, you can see, did you see Ferry's ball roll back down the hill? That's what Phil's would have done. Ferry only has about a 15-footer there. Amazing. Rolled about 10 more feet back to the hole.
It was really in a funnel if a guy would hit a top of the iron like that. And Phil, I admire your smile on that right now, but I don't know how you're doing it.
Mickelson had a 2-shot lead with 3 holes to play. Ahead of him, Colin Montgomery doubled 18.
A 2-shot lead with 3 holes to play, Phil had. And all he had to do is just hit some 4-woods or the longest iron he has off the tee, and he would have just waltzed in. Making a par, these guys can make pars by playing conservative so easily. They hit those long irons so straight. I mean, it's amazing. And then they take a short iron on those 450-yard holes, even a pitching wedge on this one, and just toss it on the green, and they can par so easily, it's ridiculous.
Mickelson looking like that might happen to him, and man from down under just the champion. We're going to give him a lift as he comes up here to try to pull off the improbable.
I want to see the look on his face when he sees where that ball is. Man,
Now, I would never question Phil's ability to hit great shots out of the bunker, but this is a shot where he's got to land it in the fringe short of the green. There's no way this thing will stop if it lands on the green. It'll go into the very deep rough on the other side of the green. Now, there's a trick for hitting shots that are in fried eggs, and hopefully when I get feeling better after my cancer treatment, I will show you guys some techniques from buried lies and from fried eggs. And of course, the reason that a ball makes a fried egg is it's spinning a lot, and when it lands in the sand, it still spins for like 2 seconds, and it just throws the sand out of the little crater that it's in and builds the fried egg. And there's a secret to hitting fried egg shots that Phil doesn't use. We're gonna watch it carefully. So let's just let him hit his shot, and we'll see that he sort of does it in a conventional way, just swinging really hard at it.
Roger, can you hear me?
Yes, Johnny, I can hear you.
Is there a chance on this shot?
Well, if it were anybody other than Phil, I'd say no.
I mean, is it going to run right off the green, or can he?
It has a very real possibility of doing that if it gets it to the green. It's buried pretty good, all above his feet.
If he lands it just a little close, just up on the green, can he get it close? That's a wild scene right there. That's a wild scene. It's almost like a football game.
Phil swung at that one conventionally. He did cut across it a little, but the way he hit that shot, he needed to land it in the fringe, obviously. There was no way with such little amount of backspin that ball was going to stop near the hole and not roll over the green. But it rolled over the green, so now he's got to chip it in from the super thick stuff to get in the playoff.
It's going to take the ball from the rough to force a playoff. As Ozil looks on, getting closer and closer to making it official. Mickelson's going to have one last try. The run at the bet page in 02. The costly 3-putt a couple of years ago at Shinnecock. 99 was the last time he played, and the only time he played in the final group on a U.S. Open Sunday before today. And it looked like this championship was going to be his finally. He was going to continue on this march of sorts to either the Nickel Slam or the Grand Slam. But this is one shot left to see if we're going to continue that ride.
You got to be a little bit in shock, Roger.
Well, I would certainly think he has to be Johnny. You know, I just don't know sometimes when I watch Phil play, and it's always gambling, always gambling. You know, sometimes making bogeys good. You just got to take your medicine.
Well, it's a good time to pull on that wing foot magic that Norman had, that Jones had on this 72nd hole.
Well, feel the thrill, see if he can knock it in.
Survives Wingfoot and wins the United States Open.
So Phil did end up making that 12-foot comebacker there for a double bogey on the hole, and he ended up tying for second. Isn't that just? I feel so bad for Phil. Happy for Ogilvy. He's a nice guy, and I'm happy for him to win a big tournament like this. I haven't seen him much lately, but anyway, this was an amazing win for him, and congratulations to him for parring 16, 17, and 18, including a chip in on 17 and that great up and down on 18. But Phil had this thing in the bag. He had a 2-stroke lead with 3 holes to go. He had did he have a 2-stroke lead on, yeah, he had a 2-stroke lead on 18. Oh my Lord. No, I'm sorry. Ogilvy was +5 and Phil was +4. He just needed to hit it out in the fairway anywhere and hit it on the green and he would have won. So thanks again for watching this fairly long video. I'll make some shorts and some interesting shorts out of this. But please do go to Good Golfers, Bad Choices, Good Golfers, Bad Choices. Like and subscribe, and it really helps me a lot. It's free of charge to you, and I can really help your golf game a lot by talking about course management all the time. And later I'll show you some recovery shots and some bunker shots that work really well. Thanks again for watching. This is Dr. Shefdahl saying see you next time. Thanks.